Welcome back to ESBR Boxing in partnership with sharpbetting.co.uk. Delighted to be joined by Niall. We have just seen AGIT Kabayel become the first man to stop Zhilei Zhang in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in the sixth round tonight. Niall, action-packed evening. Good to be joined by you as always. Give us your instant reaction to that one, please.
I'm sh surprised, to be honest. Not surprised in the fact that, we knew that it was kind of, if anything was going to be the undoing of Zhilei Zhang, it was going to be that gas tank. What surprised me was how early Kabayel forced the pace on him. We kind of said, okay, if Kabayel gets him to the second half of the fight, then it's his to lose. But Kabayel coming forward, being the aggressor, pouring on the pressure to the body so early, that surprised me. I thought Kabayel would kind of use his superior foot speed, superior lateral movement to kind of get the fight to the later rounds, but no, he stormed forward, putting himself in harm's way of the fast hands and the huge power of Kabayel. The sharp shots that we seen, and he nearly paid for it when he got dropped. So it was a surprising game plan, but yeah, excellent performance from Kabayel.
Yeah, for sure. I think for one, on Kabayel, I was willing to give him limited praise for the wins against Makhmudov and Frank Sanchez, just because I questioned kind of whether those guys were kind of top 10, genuine top 10 heavyweights or top 15 heavyweights. Whereas tonight he has taken apart a very kind of large man, a man who's kind of mixed in there with top heavyweights himself, and with Zhilei Zhang as well. So full credit to Ajak Kabayel. How did you have the fight? Now we saw five complete rounds. Um, how many, like, where was your kind of scorecard at the end of the fifth?
I'd given Kabayel all the rounds bar one, in my opinion. I just think it was a systematic breakdown. It really was. It was yeah, just a systematic breakdown from the start, really. And then of course you have the round where Kabayel gets dropped by Zhilei Zhang to kind of take that round for Zhang. But I thought Kabayel done enough to deserve the nod in pretty much all but one of them. Well, probably two rounds as well.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting the good first round as well from Zhilei Zhang. But yeah, that's where I had it. I think it was pretty comprehensive for Kabayel, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree. It kind of felt like that. The first 30 seconds, 1 minute of the round one, Zhang started well, and then of course the knockdown, which was fantastic. But I thought apart from that, where if you were scoring rounds kind of by the minute, you'd give Zhang the first minute of the first round and the minute that he had the knockdown in of round five. And apart from that, I'm not sure he would win a minute at all. Um, but look, a really good and entertaining fight as well. It's been two great fights so far this evening. How good exactly is Ajit Kabayel, Niall? I think look. I think the vast majority of people have Usyk as number one. Tyson Fury, as we're speaking, is still retired. But like, to give me your opinion on Kabayel against the likes of Daniel Dubois, Marcin Bakole, Joseph Parker, those kind of really kind of top five heavyweights rather than top 10, like moving up into those top five heavyweights. How does Ajit Kabayel get on?
Kabayel is a strange one. Like I rate Adi Kabayel highly, but as you said earlier, and kind of a lot of people think that, they were kind of reserving praise after the Makhmudov and Sanchez wins, in terms of how good they actually were as opposed to how good Kabayel was. But I think Adja Kabayel is a really good fighter. I was saying it to, I think it was Greg on a video on the build up to this fight. I would have loved to seen where he'd be now if he didn't kind of go missing after that Derek Chisora fight many years ago. I think I remember watching that fight, and I think he's a much better fighter now. I think he's really grown into his own in terms of his all-round skill set, his hand speed, his footwork, his power, of course, his shot selection. So I think I'd love to see Adja Kabayel in these big fights. Now, of course, it's a different level talking about whether he beat Alexander Usyk. I don't think he would, but there's no shame in that. But the likes of a Daniel Dubois, a Joseph Parker, I don't see that there's any reason why you can't win those fights. I really don't. I think, as I mentioned, with how technically solid and how quick and powerful he is, at the very least, he caused them a lot of problems. So, yeah, I just hope now another big fight around the corner for Kabayel, and I think it will be on one of these Riyadh season shows again. And I'd find it hard to bet against them, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I think you mentioned the Chisora win. I'm just looking it up now. That was November 2017. It's now February 2025. God knows what happened in that period of what, 6 years where he was still fighting, just wasn't no one was watching him fight. Really strange. On Zhilei Zhang, no, look, we've still seen him produce a fantastic knockdown tonight. In terms of what's on his resume now, a controversial loss to Filip Hrgović, a very close loss to Joseph Parker, in which he still won, got two knockdowns in, but he's been stopped tonight, and he's been stopped quite he's been kind of been stopped quite well. Do you think that's it for him at the age of 41, or do you think we'll see him continue to fight?
I'd have to imagine that that's it for him purely because of his age. He's similarly to Kabayel, actually. You often wonder if Zhilei Zhang was what 10 years younger. The handful that he would be. He's 41 now, but he's an absolute handful for a lot of fighters. The size of him, his range, his power, southpaw, quick hands for his size. He'd cause a lot of people kind of real problems, but in terms of world titles, and world title fights, I think that's it now. I don't think he'll ever kind of touch that level again. The only thing you could say is, he'll be kind of a benchmark fight and a challenge for up and coming heavyweights,
Yeah.
young up and coming kind of fighters. But I think at his age and the manner that he was stopped tonight, I'll find it very hard to come back from that.
Yeah, I think I would also want to kind of make a point and say Zhang's gas tanks arguably seems to be getting worse, and he shouldn't be fighting if that's his level of kind of endurance. Unless he wants to step down a level, I just don't think he should really be in there because he looked exhausted. Round four, like he still produced that knockdown, but he is not fit enough or built for 12 round fights or 10 round fights either. So we'll see. It will be really interesting to see what happens next. Niall, good to be joined by you. As always, a fantastic fight. Ajit Kabayel stays undefeated and becomes the first man to stop Zhilei Zhang. We'll see what he does next. Niall, good to be joined by you, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Cheers, take care.